Welcome to Freezer Milk Podcast. I'm your host, Bridget, along with my husband, Chris. Podcast where we talk about the comedic side and serious side of parenting, life, and relationships. We are boy parents. We have two boys, Enzo and Rhett, with about a 6-year age gap between the two. You can check out our website, freezermilk.com. Also, feel free to follow us on Instagram at Freezer Milk Podcast. Thanks and hope you enjoy. Welcome back. We're posting a couple days late, but that's okay. It was a crazy week. You traveled a lot.
It was a tough one.
You hit 3 states, like 12 Ubers.
A couple rental cars, hotels. It's a busy week.
Many planes, many airlines. It was a lot. Your baby missed you.
Yeah. He has his moments.
He's so funny. He knows that you're either out front in the garage or in your office, and so he will go bang on those different doors and ask for you. Mm-hmm. His newest talent is he can open the front door.
Yeah, which is scary.
Yep. He can't reach a deadbolt yet, but the handle he can open. So we're gonna.
Dad's gonna have to put some locks on the doors.
Mm-hmm. And sensor alarms so we can hear when they open. Audibles.
How was your week?
Had some work stress. I worked a lot. Had some stress with work.
And I was gone, so
yeah, you were gone.
Didn't make it any easier for you.
Having a weird cardio thing going on.
Yeah, what you're getting looked at for.
Yeah. So that didn't help add to my stress.
Yeah, you've been a little torn up this week.
Yeah, it's been a rough week. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Nausea came back a little bit.
Yeah, you were doing good for a little while, but now
it's not back nearly what it was, which is fantastic.
Right.
It's just a little surprise throw up here and there.
Yeah, it's always hard when I travel for the family, for everybody, because Rhett Holden gets a little weary. You get stressed out and tired. I'm tired because I'm on the road and it's go. It's constant. There's no rest. So, but you survived it.
It's interesting because with him being quote unquote pandemic baby and us having an in-home, nanny come a couple hours a week and both of us working from home, he really isn't used to a life of us not around pretty frequently.
Right. Well, I think, honestly, it's a good thing. I remember when I was a kid, I don't remember my parents being around. We always had nannies or babysitters or daycares or whatever the case may be. I'm so glad that I get to have this time to spend with him. Yeah. It's stressful. It's a lot. And when you're in it, you're
feel like you never get a break from it.
You feel like you never get a break. But I know when he's older and he's in school or he's out of the house or whatever the case may be, I'm gonna appreciate this time a lot more.
He's growing up so fast.
Yeah. He's starting to say night-night.
Did you get him to say it?
Mm-hmm. Yep. He's starting to...
He says it really slowly, though. He goes, night.
He likes to mimic things that I do, like something as simple as drinking a glass of water. We have, sippy bottles for him, but he likes his cups now because he sees Dad drinking out of a cup. So now he wants us to fill up his little water cup, and he takes his little sip, even though he's not really...
He's waterboarding himself.
Yeah, tonight he pretty much waterboarded himself.
But then he thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, he thought it was funny, and his whole personality, his whole being is just changing and evolving.
It's interesting because he has not been a very vocal child. He doesn't really say any words aside from mama, dada. But he, in the last 2 weeks, he started doing tonal inflection of words we say. So thank you, he'll go, or I'll be like, do you need help? And he'll go, the same tonal inflection of the word. So it's really interesting. So tonight we were saying nine, and he went, nine. I was like, hey, you kind of said the word. Do you remember when you first started dating me, Enzo had a language that you could not understand at first, but then once you were around him enough, you could understand, but nobody else could understand? I feel like it's that way currently with Rhett, where we know when we say do you want help, and he goes, oh, We're like, okay, yeah, that was you saying help.
Well, he's at a point now where he knows what he wants. Mm-hmm. So, I'll ask him, I'll say, hey, you want food or you want water? And he'll pretty much tell me what he wants, in his own language. Way. Or if he's done eating, or you pick up on those cues and you can kind of understand what he's doing. It's amazing to see him evolve before my eyes.
It's so crazy.
Enzo, I still have trouble understanding.
I have trouble understanding myself sometimes. I said something the other day, I think I was on like a work call, and my brain just ran through my words way too fast, and so it came out really jumbled, and they all just kind of were like silent, and I was like, yeah.
Let's take that back.
Right?
Can I get a redo?
I was like, I feel like they're all just looked at it like, what did she just say? I didn't understand those words at all.
I do that all the time at work, and Justin's like, what did you say? Actually, Justin's got, my coworker's gotten, or one of my project managers has gotten to a point where he just kind of rolls with it. He knows I'll bounce back eventually anyway. But
we started talking recently about how it'd be really cool one day to like live in an RV.
Yeah, we get on social media platforms and there's all these videos about people getting rid of their homes and getting nice toy haulers or fifth wheel trailers and campers that are all decked out, and they're moving their family in and they're getting on the road. And I brought it up to her a couple times about, hey, is that something we could probably do? But it's hard to raise a family in a trailer.
I think it is and it isn't. Like, I think there would be challenges with having like a baby and a toddler and a 8-year-old. But I think that it could also be really cool. Mm-hmm. It's not something I've thought about before, but I think as we've talked about it, I'm like, yeah, it would be something I would consider. For sure.
Of course, you'd want the most luxurious trailer that we can find.
I want like a little mobile home.
Mm-hmm. Have all the bells and whistles. It'd be ready, all decked out with everything. Finest comforts of home. Mm-hmm. But it would be cheaper than a home living, especially with the cost of everything nowadays.
It would just be really cool to, Enzo would be, we'd have to figure out like a parenting schedule with his dad that worked for it, but it would be really cool to like, even if we only had Enzo for summertime, or if we just did homeschooling with him, like or virtual school or something, to be able to give him the experiences of just seeing different places and having the world be your textbook. And
that's the one thing we've been talking about a lot over the last, probably a couple of years, but more so recently. It's one of the harder things about having a split household.
Yeah.
We can't move out of state. We have to stay in state. Like, I've been in the same state forever, and I keep talking about wanting to go somewhere else, something different, see something different, live somewhere different, experience different things. And it's really difficult to do when you have a split household. So it makes it very difficult for us to approach Enzo's father and be like, hey, we want to move to the East Coast, or we want to move to Florida, or whatever the case may be. But I think as Enzo's getting older, there might be a better opportunity to do that.
Yeah. I don't love his school.
No, he doesn't love his school. He gets bullied.
Yeah. Like, he did really well with the virtual school, so it was not homeschooling. Like, it was all like a online course, but it wasn't necessarily instructor led. It was like going through like a online program that had videos and games, and he learned really well through it.
Yeah. Like,
really well. And I like that the idea of doing that gives more flexibility in, how we want to structure days with him and this and that. I don't know.
I'm a firm believer that you're gonna learn more through experiences than traditional schooling.
Yeah.
The shit that you learn that these kids, obviously you need to learn how to read and write and basic math and all that stuff. But the shit that they teach you nowadays, you don't use it when you become older.
Do I need multiplication on the fly?
No.
Right.
So you got a fucking calculator for on your phone. I'm just saying, like, Yeah, I understand you know basic stuff when it comes to math and reading, language, stuff like that, but they throw you through all these classes. They run you through the gauntlet.
Why do they teach you long division?
I don't know. I mean, yeah, if you're going to go into a field like engineering or something like that, sure, you're a chemist. Yeah, I completely understand it, but
sine, cosine, and tangent.
I'll tell you right now, Enzo struggles so much. Like, he does really well academically, but socially he struggles because there's kids at his school that pick on him, and that's really difficult. And these so-called kids are supposed to be his friends. Mm-hmm. It's like kids that age are just awful.
He could be the weird homeschooler.
I'd rather give him the life experiences.
I know. That's one of the big, like, you and I talked about our childhoods growing up, and they were different and similar at the same time. And that was a big thing. Like, my parents, we ate a lot of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and ate a lot of egg noodles. Like, that's a pasta I don't like. Shocking, I know, because I love pasta.
Right.
But you know what I'm talking about? Egg noodles? Mm-hmm. We had them so much growing up. Like, I can't do them. They're disgusting. The ones that, like, go in, like, gross casseroles and stuff. Mm-hmm. We would just have them without a casserole.
It's amazing what the things that our parents did when we were younger that really rubbed off on us. Yeah. And that's like, I'm like, everything that I do, I'm like terrified that I'm going to do the wrong thing that's going to mold my child.
Oh, so what I was saying though is that, like, we ate a lot of peanut butter and jellies, we ate a lot of egg noodles. My parents took us traveling. Like, we got to experience, like, we got to go see the 1996 Olympics. And they had a friend that had a camper, a fifth wheel, and they drove it down to Atlanta for us, and we went and, stayed there. My parents, I'm sure, paid them some amount of money, but a lot cheaper than any of the hotels in Atlanta were for the Olympics. And we got to go and see the Olympics, which was like a once-in-a-lifetime experience. And we did one Christmas up at Lake Placid, New York. Like, they just took us traveling. We did international trips, like went to England, stayed with family friends, but still got to go to England as a kid. And travel was like a big thing, and showing us culture. Like, showing us culture, and being able just to gain that knowledge and that experience of, going through something. And it's forever, like, the Olympics is forever ingrained in my memory. Christmas at Lake Placid's forever ingrained in my memory. Like, the drives we would do going up to Maine from Maryland, it's like a 17-hour drive. It's super long, but we would break it up in like 2 days. But it's like forever ingrained in my memory, and like, being in Maine and going and, picking blueberries.
But that's the stuff that stuck with you.
It is.
It's not school.
Right, and that's where...
It's only the negative things that happen in school that stick with you. It's like, why do we do this to ourselves? Because mainstream society says this is how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
I never did really well in school. I always struggled. It was always too much, boring. It was just not where I wanted to be. Couldn't keep my head in it.
I'm not a, like, roughing it camping type of person. I don't think.
You're not outdoorsy?
Like, I have friends that, like, I grew up with that, like, they love camping. Like,
tent camping.
Tent camping, and, like, it's a big thing.
They'll just sleep on a sleeping bag outside.
Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, that's not me, but I like the...
Luxury camping?
Like, getting the experience of seeing these beautiful places and,
I keep telling you, if you do camping right, you'll love it. There's nothing better than sitting by a campfire and then being able to climb into your nice warm bed in your RV. Right,
that's what I was saying. Like,
if you want to watch a movie, you can watch
luxury
a movie.
Camping.
You got a bathroom, you got a shower.
Yeah. It's a little mobile hotel room that you can have a campfire outside of.
In the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yep. Those are the experiences that I want our kids to have.
Yeah.
Because those are the experiences when I was a kid that I remember. Excuse me.
I think it would be really interesting to eventually be able to explore that option one day and see kind of what Enzo's dad says and what he thinks would work out as far as scheduling and all that fun stuff. It's a good goal to have.
Agreed.
We'd enjoy it. A little scary with small kids, but...
Yeah, and we talked about that too. Maybe we should wait until they're a little bit older at least. That, they're walking. You probably don't want to take a baby out there, but I don't know. Maybe.
And RV's like a super contained space though too, which is nice. If you do have. And almost everything like locks in some way, shape or form.
Yeah.
All the cabinets and all that all lock up.
Maybe it would be ideal.
Right. You can't go anywhere. Can't get into too much trouble.
No.
Be interesting for sure. How do you feel like we're doing? Like, as of late? I know we've had different people in our lives that are going through struggles with couples and everything else.
I think that we are where we're supposed to be. I would say that we are busy. I would say that we are trying to be more cognizant of each individual person's needs. Yeah. I would say that we're doing better with that and understanding when one needs time to themselves or whatever the case may be. We still can't get a date night. That's been damn near impossible.
You've been traveling so much, so our nanny budget's through the roof.
Yeah, I travel a lot. There's a lot more added stresses when I'm traveling. Our expenses go up because we have to have childcare and
like your travel's all paid for, but it doesn't offset childcare.
No. So it puts a lot more strain on you. And
can we start back billing for childcare?
Yeah, we probably should. So I think all in all, I feel like we're in a pretty good place.
We had a really good talk today. We talked a little bit about how this last year's been really tough on me, as far as just
work, kids,
just everything, work, kids, life, all of it. But you mentioned something today that I hadn't realized until you brought it up, where you'd mentioned that I don't have my passion and like my hustle that I normally do.
Not with this current role.
The role is taking a lot out of me. Rhett growing and then being pregnant and severe
miscarriaging
sick.
twice.
And, miscarried. Like it's been a rough 12 months.
Mm-hmm. I can completely understand why your passion's not there, but I think more or less your current positioning within your company is draining you.
It's requiring a lot more than I want to give to it.
Yeah. You just have a lot of people that you're never going to be able to please.
Yeah.
And it's not what you want to do.
Yeah.
So. And I struggle with that, so, too.
It's hard. It's because we have a couple different things like, fire irons in the fire over the last 12 months, but we haven't been able to really get them up off the ground and get them up and running just because
we haven't been able to give them all of our attention.
Yeah. And that's hard because you and I are very big, like we hustle.
We're very big on not leaving things unfinished.
Yes.
Like I have really bad OCD. I can't get away from a computer if a project I'm working on is left unfinished. I just can't do it.
Yep.
I've got to finish, start to finish, and we've just not, unfortunately, we haven't been able to do that for us and our legacy, our business, it's been really tough. It's been hard.
Our passion projects.
Our passion projects, the stuff that we enjoy. We've just, all of our focus goes to at home and work. Yeah. I mean, mine has been a lot more work, and yours has too. Your job's increasingly increasingly becoming more demanding.
Mm-hmm. And workloads are increasing.
Yep. Nothing else, but workloads are increasing.
I feel like that's like a common denominator in most companies though. Like
everybody wants more now.
Well, you're starting to see like a lot of people are saying like, are you guys feeling the burnout? Like everyone is feeling this burnout effect from everyone switched to work from home during the well, not everyone, but like majority of people switched to work from home during the pandemic for all the right reasons. But with work from home came no hard stop. Mm-mm. No hard break, no hard lunch.
No, my days are well over the 8-hour norm.
Right, because you don't leave an office.
And my office is in the next room. Plus, I have my cell phone on me all the time.
Yeah.
There's really no break.
And I think that's affecting everybody, like at all different levels and companies that have been in this work from home environment of, you know, the work from home is great, except for the fact that your lines get really blurred. Mm-hmm. Between your work day and your personal day, and
plus you never leave your office. Yeah. I'm always at the office because I'm home.
So a lot of people are just experiencing this burnout effect of, you know, just kind of hitting the end of their rope as far as work asking for more and more and more, and the price of everything and inflation and everything is just more and more right now.
And I think that's, you know, kind of what I've struggled with a lot this last year, and, you know, even before that, but you know, I see all these, you know, we are very motivated individuals most of the time. Yeah. We haven't been recently. And I struggle with, you know, the people out there that are, you know, doing what they're passionate about and making money doing it. And how do you do that? Like, how do you get there?
They started before the pandemic?
No, that's not it. It's just a lot of different things. But, you know, we use the excuse there's not enough time, but you know, in the grand scheme of things, there really isn't enough time in life, you know. So at this point, we need to kind of shit or get off the pot, you know.
Yeah.
We need to just take charge of our lives and do what we're passionate about and make it work.
Did you send me that Skittles TikTok?
No.
I saw this TikTok, and it was about Skittles, and they basically said, like, these are the hours on the average lifespan.
Yeah, I did send you that one.
And they said, like, this is on average how much you know, for an average lifespan, I think it was like, I don't know, 76 years, 78 years, 80 years, something like that. They're, you know, had all these thousands of Skittles. And they started, you know, dividing them up and breaking away from a large pile. And, like, these ones are spent
sleeping.
These eating. Ones are spent typically working if you retire at the normal age. And these ones are spent... And it whittled down to this tiny little pile.
Maybe of like a 50 to 100 Skittles left out of thousands, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50 thousands of Skittles.
And I was like, this is what you have left. And what do you do with it? Mm-hmm. You know? You can take away from other piles to increase more time in something else, but you only have so many Skittles, really, at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. And it was really eye-opening to kind of think about that and think about, you know, it's silly, but it reminds me of like when we were laboring and birthing Rhett. One of the mantras that you would, you know, keep telling me is that this contraction, you know, is done. You're one more contraction, you know, you're one less contraction to meeting.
No, you're one more contraction closer to meeting your son.
And it's basically just saying, like, there's only a finite amount of contractions before you'll meet your son. So you never have to repeat this one. It's behind you, and you have one less, you know?
To go through.
And that, like, the Skittle video kind of reminded me of that. Like, you only have a finite amount of Skittles in life. So what are you going to do with them?
Yeah.
How are you going to...
It's true. I mean, time here on Earth for a human being is borrowed, and it is very minuscule in the grand scheme of things. Mm-hmm. There is not a lot of true time that we spend, because from ages 1 to 18, your body is still doing things mentally and physically to become an adult that can be self-sustaining. Then from 18 to 60 is about a window where you work a career, you build a family, and then you come to the end of your career and you go into a retirement, right?
Yeah.
But that whole time you were concentrating on work and family.
Yeah.
And then you go into your retirement, and sure, you might have 5, 6, 7, 10 years of healthy living, but most people don't. After they stop working, they lose their purpose.
Yep.
and their health deteriorates. Their mind deteriorates. So it's like we really don't have much time here. You know, and it's one thing that I've been struggling with more so recently is what am I doing, you know, with my life and like my career? Because, you know, yes, I'm good at what I do, but I'm not absolutely head over heels in love with it.
There's a quote. Let me see if I can find it real quick. So the quote says, and it's one that I love, but I need to take to heart more. It says, "One life, just one. Why aren't we running like we're on fire towards our wildest dreams?"
Yeah, I mean, we don't. Most people don't. Mm-mm. It's amazing. We do what society tells us to do. We set in the mold, and we live this life, and it's mundane, and it's boring, and...
What are your wildest dreams?
Travel's up there. I mean, experiencing different countries and ways of living for sure.
Living abroad for a year.
Yeah, we had talked about possibly living abroad for a year with the family. Honestly, just not being so stressed, not feeling when I get up in the morning that I have to go work a job to keep the lights on.
Yeah. It's so interesting because so many people in other cultures and countries don't have that mentality. It is 110% a U.S. mentality.
Yeah, we idolize our careers and work.
Yeah.
Whereas these other countries idolize their
family
and you know their self and you know their gods, and we are very much materialistic individuals, and money is everything. And it's unfortunate because a lot of us don't live these healthy lives. Mm-hmm. You know, and we're not at peace. You know, we go through a lot of stress and unnecessary stress a lot of the times that we do to ourselves.
I was thinking about, I was talking with a fellow real estate agent fairly recently, and I was like, I don't fit the mold of the look of most real estate agents. As far as I'm not in high heels and, you know, done up makeup and perfectly groomed hair and, you know, fake eyelashes and designer clothes. Like that's not who I am at my core.
No, your yoga pants and tattoos.
Yoga pants, tattoos, messy buns. But so many people will just look at how an agent is dressed and make a decision off of that. And I'm like, it's so crazy. You know, like I was talking with this fellow realtor and she was like, you're incredibly smart. Like the knowledge you have on stuff is just mind-boggling. Like that, the amount of knowledge you have in construction and builds and design. She's like, it's just mind-boggling. And she's like, it's so crazy to think that there are people that, because you don't look the mold of what they picture the real estate agent, you know, like a Vanna White is what they picture, you know, from Wheel of Fortune. And because I don't have the Vanna White look, like...
They don't give you a shot.
Yeah, it's interesting. And I don't want to have to become a Vanna White. Like, I want to be able to do transactions and be who I am. You know, Chip and Joanne Gaines didn't Vanna White themselves.
Yeah, no.
It's just interesting to talk about that with somebody else.
It's idolization, and I feel like a lot of times we idolize the wrong things. I don't really want to live like that. So I hope that me and you can come to, we come to a place where we are able to go do these. If we want to live in a fifth wheel trailer for 6 months or from a year, a mobile home, whatever the case, or RV, a nice RV, we can do it. Or if we want to move to Europe for a year, or whatever the case may be, or we just want to do what we're doing but do it differently. I don't know that we've talked about doing Europe the year Enzo turns 18 and graduates, and let him do a gap year if he wants to. It's just, I don't know, it's a matter of perspective, and for us right now, and this chapter in our lives, we need to work together to figure out how to do what we are passionate about.
I think for us,
and get our passion back.
We are very passionate about doing things that provide enrichment into our lives and experiences.
Yeah. So now how do you take those two things and turn them into a lucrative business?
Become travel planners for people.
There you go.
You said you love being in pools, and what did I say you should do?
Test out floaties.
Test out floaties, but also be like a travel reviewer of like, hey, these are the best, pools and relaxation. If laying on a floaty in a pool or on your overwater bungalow is your jam, these are your top 10 resorts. Yeah. There's people that would read it too and take it into consideration. It's crazy to think about.
Well, I'm going to leave you with a piece of advice for this week, since it's a long weekend. People out there that are feeling burnt out, tired, feel like you're full of passion anymore. This weekend, you need to make time, whether it's 15 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour, whatever the case may be, to go do something you're passionate about. Get some joy back in your life.
Absolutely.
And enjoy the holiday.
Have a great holiday. Thanks so much for listening.
Thanks, everybody, for listening. You can check us out at
freezermilk.com
or Instagram.
Freezer Milk Podcast.
Until next week, guys. Thanks.
Don't forget, parenting is a trip. We are all here on the journey with you together. Thanks so much for listening.